Welcome back, everyone, to another Beyond All Reason video. It is Jaws Munch. We are taking a look at Legion. It has been a very long time since we have touched on any Legion items. And so we're going to be taking a look at all of the things that have changed since my last Legion video, going over the units and buildings and such. So there have been massive amounts of updates. It's just insane, okay? If you haven't messed with Legion in months, you're going to not even recognize it because it has changed dramatically since the last video that I have put out on Legion in particular. First off, we have the commander, who has had a significant update in appearance here. You can see he's got all sorts of cool different features now. He's got an anti-air turret on the top here. He has his cool little builder gun, and I think one of these are his laser weapon as well. Yeah, that's this cannon right there. So very cool design. He is completely unique now from the other commanders, which is awesome. He also has a D gun as well. I'm not going to go over all of the different features for every single unit, because that would just take us forever to get through. Anyway, the Legion Commander has been updated, and this is what I expect to see as the final product when Legion is finally released. Next, we have a advanced geothermal plant. This is kind of the upgraded version. So you have the Prude for Armada. You have the what's it called? The one that has the turrets on it that shoot giant plasma. I forgot the name of it. Anyway, so you have that for the Cortex faction, and then you have the Rampart for the Legion faction, and you can see it's a giant radar tower. It also has an anti-nuke built into it, so you can see there's an anti-nuke ring here as well, and then it's also a drone platform that is able to attack different enemies when they come into contact with this or get into range. And then it also has a radar jamming, let me see, radar and radar jamming. Yeah, it says jam in red right there. You can see the red is 500 jamming. Oh, that might actually be kind of, yeah, you can see it. So 500 jamming right there as well. So it's actually a support building. It's basically a utility building with a slight offensive and defensive characteristic as well. So very cool. I'm not really sure how often these will be used or built, honestly, because they have a kind of niche usability, because if you're building a lot of stuff around your geo, it could be nice to have them radar jammed and everything, but it's a very unique building. Very cool. Then we have the T3 for Legion, which looks similar to Cortex, but it's not quite the same. I think it's a little bit beefier, but it still has a very similar Cortex design to it. Then we have the overcharged metal extractor. This guy has had a major update in the appearance. You can see it has like all these little I guess those might be like power modules sticking out of it, and a cool little fan to help it speed up, or to help cool it down from its insane efficiency. So this helps boost your metal extraction. It's the kind of tier 1.5 metal extractor that Legion has under its belt. So that's pretty cool. I think the graphic design is fantastic. Everything's looking really cohesive, and comes together very nicely for what I have seen so far on the Legion units. We also have an advanced metal storage. Or this is just your standard metal storage here, which is a pretty nice design. It kind of follows the same feel as most of the other Legion buildings. And then you also have the energy storage, which is, these are basically the same as for Cortex and Armada, but they do have their own unique look to them. So I think that's absolutely fantastic, that they have that unique design to them, and they look really great and unique on their own. Then you also have the advanced metal storage here, and this looks fantastic as well. I don't think Legion has an advanced energy storage yet designed for their visual update yet, but I'm sure we'll see that coming out relatively soon. Then we've got an energy converter. We only have the T1 energy converter right now. I don't know when they'll get the advanced energy converters out, but the T1 energy converter looks pretty cool and very nice and specific style to Legion alone, so that's very cool. We got the T1 solar panel, your basic solar panel, which these are pretty cool when they build, when they first get built, because they like fold out, and it's really awesome to just see how they kind of they don't just appear stretched, they end up folding out, which is a nice little feature I think they've added. And then the windmill as well. The windmill honestly looks super cool. I love this design, the triple turbine windmill here, super fantastic. And you can see they added like these little these aren't even connected, these are like, are they connected? Yeah, they're just like little energy things that are offset from the actual windmill itself. So it's a pretty unique design. It looks fantastic. They've done such a good job on the Legion designs. Here's the advanced solar panel here, and following similar concept here. It's just a little bit bigger, a little bit more bulky, but yeah, pretty cool look. I love it. I definitely appreciate the effort that went into these. Then let's go ahead and get into the factories. So the factories, we got the T1 Bot Lab, which is of a circular feel to it. Everything has a little bit more of a new ageist look compared to Legion, or compared to Cortex and Armada, in my opinion. It just feels more futuristic for Legion, which is cool because there's a lot of unique aspects to Legion, and I mean, I think that the design is good based on the technology that Legion has. Like we're dealing with drones, a much more, it feels kind of more Protoss in nature, and I think that's kind of where we're drawing inspiration from with a lot of the Legion units and buildings, is kind of that more advanced feel, more technological feel to it. So that I think they did a very good job on the design with that as well. So Bot Lab here, you got all your basic bots, and they're still working on getting Grave Robbers. You know, obviously right now we're still using the Grave Robber and the Thrasher. I'm sure we'll see some Legion units coming out to fill in these roles in you know, properly, but for now, you know, it works, you know, as this is still getting roughed out. And then we also have the vehicle lab here. This guy, they just recently updated the feel to this, and I think it looks fantastic. It looks a lot more like a garage, which I think is good because it kind of gives you that vehicle vibe, right? And this feels more like a pad, like a door. You have kind of like this door structure, which makes you think of like walking, and whereas this guy it makes you think of like a garage where you drive in. So I think they did an excellent job at portraying which building is which, you know, just right off the bat there, which is fantastic. And then this is the T2 Bot Lab, which is just absolutely sick looking. It's basically a similar concept to this. They took the design and then just added a bunch of different like odds and ends to make it look more advanced, you know, make it look more powerful. Whoops, sorry about that. To make it look more powerful. So I think the updates to the factories were fantastic. I have no problems with the changes. You guys let me know down in the comments which updated version of building or unit you prefer, because I think I don't know, my favorite's probably gonna be the advanced fusion reactor. They finally came out with the advanced fusion reactor for Legion, and that's these guys right here. The balls of energy look super slick. I think they did a better job on these spheres of energy compared to Cortex and Armada. Honestly, they just look so slick, so fantastic. And then they have like these claws here, and these claws are just so unique. It's almost like they're holding on to the ball of energy, and then the fact that they're moving is such a unique way of doing it. I'm really stoked about it. It's kind of like, it feels like it could open up and launch this into the sky if need be or something. I don't know. Just a really cool design. I'm super stoked that they finally came out with them. Now we have the fusion reactor, and this almost makes me think of like a brain. It kind of has that weird cyborg brain feel to it. I don't know why. That's just my instant thought, but you kind of get the idea. Lots of fission going on in here, and we're taking the fission and turning it into energy to use on the battlefield. So super cool. Really happy with these designs. Very cool to see. Next, we have the advanced metal extractor. No longer looks like the Cortex metal extractor. Now it has its own unique design, and it's not quite as energy intensive as the Armada, or as the overcharged metal extractor, as this guy takes a bit more energy. But these, I don't think there's anything too unique about these metal extractors. I'm pretty sure they are very much the same as your other factions, or at least as far as I'm aware. If anyone knows anything different, definitely let me know down in the comments. We also have the construction turret here, and it has a completely new design as well. And you can see this like these like knobs on the back. These are kind of just like energy storage battery style. That's what I imagine. They're kind of like a battery on the back, and you kind of see that theme throughout a lot of the Legion buildings here. Like these look kind of like a similar battery storage for power, and then yeah, just very similar designs. Those like cylinders are all throughout all of the Legion equipment. So I think that's definitely by design, right? Next, we have the hover platform here, and I'm not going to be getting into all the hover units and stuff just because it's going to take too much time, but it got a rework to, you know, differentiate itself from Cortex once again, which is fantastic. Cortex being the placeholder for Legion, it is just so good to see that it is no longer holding the place for Legion any longer, and now Legion is getting all its own things. You know, even the sound designs, you know, it retains some of the same sounds, but this sound, that's completely new and unique to Legion. But some of the other ones still have similar sounds that you might have heard in the past. So but we'll see. Maybe they'll change that in the future. That would be interesting to see if that happens. We also have the Legion drone plant, which they aren't technically an airfield or an aircraft facility. It is a drone plant, which is interesting because all the other planes, aircraft in Beyond All Reason, are that they are planes versus drones. So it's good to see that is a unique thing as well with Legion. We got the Juno bomber, the air transport, the flying scout, the mosquito, and the martyr, or martyr. I think it's martyr. And these are just self-destruction drones. So very cool. On the side of buildings here, we have one more building, or two more actually. We got the T2 vehicle lab here. This guy looks super cool. It's got like this, it makes me think of like a rib cage coming over the top of the garage, and then when it goes to build, it opens up and just pops out that unit, and then slides those bottom or that center back up. I think that takes a little bit of time to actually do. Yeah, there we go. It resets and slides that center back up. So such a cool design. It's just neat to see all of the little aspects that they've put into the design here. And then we've got the T3, which we've already kind of talked about the T3, how it's similar to Cortex design. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the bots here. These are all the bots we have. I'm not going to go into deep explanation. I'm only going to talk about units that are brand new, but we'll talk also a little bit about units that have changed in design. Mainly, that's what I want to focus on today, is just things that have changed in design. So we have the Snapper. This is relatively new. I don't think I've talked about it before. This is the equivalent to the Scuttle or the Tumbleweed. You can see it has a weird like corkscrew movement pattern, which is super cool. Very unique style. I don't think I've ever seen any other units that have this this type of movement, but it's very cool. I definitely appreciate that in the fact that it is unused so far. So whoever came up with that, it kind of looks like it has little eyeballs, even little angry face there. Kind of cute. All right, next we have the Arquebus. Yes, I believe that's it. And this is the Walker Sniper. So it's all terrain. They had a major rework in how they look. They look a lot stronger now. Before they kind of felt like a stick, I guess. Whereas now they look much more armored, much more like a battle machine that you would want to use. Whoops. I don't know how I did that. That was impressive. Much more like a battle machine you would want to use, you know. It just looks more beefy. Looks like it has a better punch to it, and it fires a railgun. So the railgun is very specific to Legion alone. Cortex and Armada have nothing of that type or style of weapon. And they're pretty handy because they can shoot down both land and air. So pretty nifty. Next we have the Heat Ray. What is this called? The Incinerator. This has had a massive update in visual appearance. It just looks like a giant mech now, which is very good. The other version of it looked much flatter and lower to the ground, whereas this looks much more three-dimensional and fear. Like this could strike fear into your heart. You see this walking towards you, you're going to be a little bit more concerned, whereas the other one kind of just looked a lot less menacing, if that makes sense. And this fires a giant heat ray missile or laser weapon that it does a lot of damage. and the one thing these are known for is doing friendly fire, so be cautious of that. It will absolutely wreck your own units if they are in front of it while it is shooting. But it is a very powerful unit. I would say it's very similar to the Mammoth in like how it's designed to be used. You want to back it up though a little bit more, but it does have a very massive punch and a lot of heavy damage that it can put out. The flanks, I think, has had a little bit of rework in visual in its visual update here. Not a ton, but a little bit. I feel like the front looks a little bit different, but that could just be to the fact that I haven't really zoomed in that much on it. But yeah, it's got that shotgun and the shield. The shield, I think, just protects a little bit from oncoming damage, and then when the shield breaks, then it takes HP damage at that point. So kind of nice. It's kind of like an energy shield, I believe. And once the shield's broken, he can, I believe, get out of combat, and then the shield will come back as a form of protection once again. But he is, once again, super short range, kind of like the shock bot. So just keep that in mind. Then we got the Carcanos. I don't think this has had too much of an update visually, but you know, once again, I haven't really gone in too close and personal with the Carcanos. I have always somewhat been skeptical of their usability, as they aren't that strong, in my opinion. They have unique weapons. They have like a concussion shell, which can be handy, but their long range weapon is kind of mediocre. So, but the visual design is definitely good. I love the way they look. It kind of looks like a transformer, in my opinion, with that mask. Anyway, so there's the Carcanos. I'm not going to be getting into all the construction units yet. Get over here, construction units. We'll talk about you later. The Belcher kind of looks like a, I don't know, it has the feel of like a duck. I don't know why. It just makes me think of a duck every time I see it. This guy shoots out napalm. Pretty cool. The visuals are nice. The Strider kind of looks like a Centurion on top of a Walker body. So I think we'll probably be seeing the Strider change over time, because this is technically probably stolen from Armada. And I don't know if that's what they will want to have stay as the full design for Legion, you know, the final unit. But it's the inspiration anyway. Then we got the Goblin. Goblin, I don't think it's had any changes really. He's still tiny, he's still cute, he's still got his 2 little antennas. And yeah, pretty cool guy. I think, are those little, I think those might be the little battery packs tucked in there as well. I'm not really sure. Anyway, get out of here. Then we got the Plasma, the Lobber. Yeah, these guys haven't really changed. They've been around for a while. So if you've been playing for the past like month or so, you've definitely seen these. And I don't believe there's been any changes, as far as I'm aware anyway. Maybe I'm wrong, I'm not really sure. But yeah, pretty cool units, I like them. And then we've got the Ballista, giant rocket launcher on the top of it. Fantastic unit. Very, very good in combat. I love the Ballista. Definitely something you should put in your armies if you haven't messed with them before. Super fun. And the Centaur. Centaur is like a running hound. A very fast triple cannon. I think it does 3 burst shot, but very close range. Yeah. But it is a lot of damage, and this is a very fast and powerful raiding unit, but they have to get past enemy lines, and you have to abuse their speed, because the speed is the most important aspect of this unit. So anyway, that's all the bots we got. Nothing too crazy there. And then of course we have a couple construction units, which I think the Legion construction bot, these all look pretty good. The one thing I don't like about the Legion construction units is that all of the bots look very, very, very similar. I think they recently changed the Legion T1 bot, so it's a little bit better than it was, but they all are very spidery looking, and so if you're looking from a bit of a distance, it can be kind of hard to tell, is this a T1 or a T2? Is this a T1 or a T2? Because they both have similar legs. So I don't know if you guys have had that problem in your games where you're like, which one's my T2 constructor? But they do have difference in like visual. It's just you got to be careful with it, because I have gotten confused on occasion with what one is my T1, T2, and assistant all-terrain. That is one thing nice though about the combat engineer for Legion, is it's an all-terrain spider constructor. So every single cliff it's able to climb over, and that's a unique aspect for building units, because that means like if you want to build say a plasma cannon on top of a mountain, you can just put a ton of these little engineers up there to help with the build, the construction of it, and it's 125 build power, so very, very cool, and very versatile, and it has a lot of different things it's able to build: units, defenses, anti-air, pop-up turrets, yeah, all sorts of stuff. So very, very, very cool unit, and a lot of people really like the all-terrain aspect of this engineer. And then we have the Legion Decoy Commander, which I think he can do a normal D-gun. Yeah, it's just the fake D-gun, right? And I just think the Legion Commander design is fantastic. But yeah, they are available for decoys. If you guys want a decoy, there you have it. Legion has theirs officially. And then we all know about the Infestor. Able to replicate itself and produce a million other replicators. Or infestors. You can just infinitely multiply. So very cool units. They also have build power tied to them, so if you want to reclaim something, you can. I think the design is fantastic. The usability is somewhat limited. You have to kind of plan very cautiously, and I think they also are radar. Yeah, they are radar jamming. You can see they have stealthy capabilities as well, so that means they aren't going to come up on radar. Which is good. You just have to be careful that they don't get line of sighted. And you can kind of replicate behind someone's base and then come in and do some unseen damage. Blam, shredding all of their economy. So, very cool units. Next, we've got the Mantis. It's a drone platform. It does have a significant range. This is a T2 building, or T2 unit. I believe it's T2. Let me double check that. Thought for sure it was T2. Yeah, it is T2. Only costs 300 metal, so it's relatively cheap. But the drones cost 15 metal a piece, and they are a consistent cost because you're constantly having to produce them. But the vision is good, so it's kind of like think of it more like a scout unit, to be honest. Because after the unit dies, the drones will just fly around until they die. And as long as there's not a ton of anti-air, it can be a good way to get the surround damage bonus of hitting someone from an opposite direction, because the drones will fly in a circle and actually do damage in a circle. Then we have the Boreas. This is the long-range missile, similar to the Armada or Legion long-range rocket launcher. So it has stealth, which means it's not going to be seen by radar, which can be nice. It means you can just tell it to attack somewhere, launch the missile, boom, and then move it. And then any incoming damage will probably not hit you because you moved out of the position from where you were firing it. So used appropriately, these are very, very strong units. Now we got the Lance. This is a T1 anti-air skirmisher. Think of it like the Whistler. It doesn't do a lot of damage. You can see it has a DPS of 25, but it also has a pretty, I think it has a decent line of sight. Even then the line of sight's kind of trash. But yeah, you're going to want to build these in large numbers. They are somewhat expensive though, 260. I'm not a huge fan of them. Maybe you guys have had luck with them, but I've never had luck with these being very good. But they kind of follow a similar design from other rail weapons that Legion has. I do like the like outer treads and inner treads on the back. It does look like a really good design of a unit there, but I just don't find them very useful in a fight. Especially since Legion has less metal income than other factions. It's just too much cost. Anyway, here's the T2 constructor for the vehicles. Very cool unit, very unique. It does steal a lot of its inspiration, I think, from Cortex vehicles, but it is a bit different, so we will give it that. I don't think it's an exact copycat on visual, but it is very similar, so. Then we got the T1 Legion constructor. This is unique completely, and I do appreciate the fact that these are a lot more unique in appearance, so there's basically no confusing the two, which is good. Maybe this guy will change in design because it doesn't feel like it quite follows the Legion aesthetic, but we will see. I have no insider information on that side of things. We've got the Alaris. This has changed a bit since the last time we saw it. It's gotten a lot smaller. It used to be a bit bigger. And it looks a lot more like a Land Rover. And it's very, very trashy now. It used to be a bit stronger. I think they nerfed the health pool it had. It used to be able to 1v1 a blitz, I think, if I remember correctly, and actually win. Now I don't think it's going to win against a blitz. It's just so cheap, and it's more of a scouting unit. But it is quite fast, so you can use it as a scout and outrun your opponents and try to get some value with it behind enemy lines. The anti-air minigun truck. This is relatively new, actually, because I don't think I've ever seen this guy. But this is updated for Legion. This is replacing the flak trucks that Armada and Cortex would have instead. And yeah, this is on point with their style completely, I think. It looks great. And I love the anti-air cannon that it has on there. That looks absolutely sick. Very cool. Nice little flak cannon, flak truck. And we've got the barrage. I believe this has had an update as well. At least a slight update. Somewhat recently. It's got a pop-up cannon that fires napalm. Very effective. Kaboom. Yep. Very, very good unit. It's also capable of firing while retreating, which is nice. So you can just like fall back, pop napalm, and then keep running, whereas most artillery can't shoot behind them. So that is an aspect where these napalm artillery can be a little bit more of a skirmishing unit than other artillery can. So they don't have a lot of HP. I definitely recommend using them with support, but they are very effective units as well. Quick shot, this is a T2. T2 scout. I would say similar to the Armada lightning tank, but it doesn't really have that much damage. It's definitely emphasis on the quick and not very much HP. You can see it's like 1,000 health. So they're okay. They're like most other Legion fast units. They're just a scout essentially for T2. I wouldn't recommend using them in combat very much because they do kind of fall off in damage. Maybe you'll want to spam them into like grunt spam or something. I don't know. I haven't really found that many uses for these guys, unfortunately. But the design is good. It's a very low to the ground, which I think fits the job that it has, you know, as a raiding tank. And, you know, it's a small little guy that is quite effective. So, quite effective at speed anyway, not so much damage. Then we've got the Legion Sapper. This is the minelayer. Pretty nifty little guy. This, I don't think I've ever actually taken a look at this guy yet. This is relatively new. And, yeah, I like it. I'm not super familiar with all the other factions on how they look. I know that Armada has like 2 little legs that come out, so it looks a little bit different. But yeah, this is good. You can tell it's a radar jammer because of the little red symbol on top, so that's nice. Yeah, nifty little guy, kind of more stealthy because it has you know, less of an aggressive job, so very cool. Then we've got the Helios. This is one of my favorite Legion tanks for T1 especially. It has a very effective laser weapon on it. The heat ray, I think, is fantastic for Legion. And they did a really good job with the sound. The sound of the movement sounds really just satisfying. And the laser fire sounds very satisfying as well. Yeah, it's just a great little unit. Pretty fast as well. Next we got the Triton, which is T2. Yeah, T2 amphibious unit. I haven't really had a chance to take this into combat at all. So if you have, please let me know how it's turned out for you. It's an amphibious unit, so I assume there's an it might not quite stand up to other units as well, as most amphibious units do have a little bit less damage because of their mobility. They have unique ability to maneuver terrain that other units don't have. So let me know in the comments if you guys have had good luck with the Triton. It may be that they are fantastic. I just have not really messed with them. And we got the Decurion. Wait, Decurion? I think the Decurion. I think this is like a heat ray weapon. No. Oh, no. This is the This is the T1. This is the T1 machine gun tank. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of these. They have a decent amount of HP, 2,400, but I think their DPS is kind of minimal. And the fact that they have such a long cone of damage, long range, you're just not getting as much damage as you're gonna want. You know, you're missing so many shots over time. So they are unique. Maybe some people find a strategy with them that are good. I just never have had any luck with these guys, unfortunately. But the design is cool. I think the idea of a rapid fire, just kind of chain gun tank, very, very cool and unique. I just don't feel they're that good, unfortunately. But all of these are liable to change over time. Next, we have the Setus, or Cetus, I think Setus. This is another amphibious tank. Has a little pop-up turret. Haven't really used these that much. This will be similar to the Pincer. I do like the fact that the gun's like a pop-out gun. That's pretty cool. It might take a little bit of extra time to actually shoot because of that. Yeah, it pops out pretty fast, I guess, so that's not too bad. But yeah, once again, you don't get a chance to play a ton of Legion, so I'm not really sure how often they are used or how efficient they are for usability. Next, we have the Otter. This is the T1, basically a Beaver, similar to the Beaver. It's just the Armada version. Got a little pop-out turret that shoots out your build power, so yeah, basic to what we would see with any other unit. So very cool. Then we got the Wheelie. The Wheelie is the rover of Legion. Very tiny, two-wheel vehicle. Surprised it's able to stay upright, but that's the power of programming, right? You can make anything stay upright with the right programming. But yeah, pretty cool little unit. Definitely only for scouting. I think it has a decent line of sight. Let's take a look. Yeah, very fast and mobile. Able to change position and a really good line of sight. I think that might actually beat out the rover on vision as well, because that's a hefty amount there. Anyway, cool little guy as well. Then we've got the Prometheus. This is the heat ray tank. Once again, heat rays are quite impressive for damage, but also you have to be careful because they can definitely destroy your own units if you're not careful. I think it looks fantastic. Honestly, this makes me think of like the Mammoth tank from Red Alert. I don't know if you guys have messed around with the Mammoth tanks or seen them, but that's instantly what it makes me think of. Very similar in design. Just this beefy, heavy assault tank. Super cool. I love the little green lights on the front. Very fantastic. Yeah, I really like these tanks. I think they're definitely worth a purchase there. The Gladiator. These are my go-to for skirmisher. Think of them kind of like the Tiger tank or the Bull tank, but a little bit weaker. I think they're slightly weaker than the Tiger, but they are quite fast. And you're just your all-in-all skirmish tank that you're going to want to use generally for Legion faction. I really appreciate them. I think they're super fun to use, and you know, they have decent range, so you can actually like get out damage without having... Why am I zooming across the map so fast? Get out damage without having to get too close to your opponent, which once you get into T2, range starts to become a significant factor to whether or not a weapon is good. Then we also have the Cicero. This is another new unit. The radar jammer for Legion. Pretty cool design. I think that's very unique. And the fact that it's circular instead of most of the other jammer units have like little wavy aspects, but this is a circular jammer signal, so pretty cool. Nothing too much to say about that one. We also have the Theme, or it might be Theme, the radar vehicle as well for Legion. Honestly, good designs all the way around. All of the the aspects of this are spinning, which is super cool. Looks quite unique for a high-tech faction. All right, we'll get you out of here. Then we've got the Cleaver. This is the cluster artillery, which I haven't really messed around much with. I don't really know how good they are. They have a pretty good AoE though. Look at that, and it bursts into multiple. That looks pretty effective for 400 metal. Each burst is basically one shot. One shot is 500 damage. And then the other shots, I don't know how much damage those would do. But presumably quite a lot. We could maybe test that on this factory here. We'll see if we can't get some explosions going. So the one shot probably will do like 100 damage here and 100 damage there. I would imagine this would be a good first unit to get out when you start getting into T2, because going up against T1 units, it's just going to decimate them. Okay, boom, 50. Yeah, it only did like 50 damage to the side. So it's not like super, like the shattering isn't that good. But it would be decent for, you know, smaller clusters or larger clusters of like ticks or pawns or T1 units. You can really chip away at them if you have like 5 of those firing a nice big heavy hit and then spreading that damage across to other smaller units. Could be quite nice. And then the Medusa. This is a laser targeted weapon. Very, very cool. It shoots out a laser to get the target to a weapon and launches out a massive barrage of missiles. The range is pretty insane on this thing. And as you see, it has a pretty significant cone it can shoot under. And yeah, I really, really like the Medusa. I think it's one of the best Legion units they have for like vehicles anyway. But it does need support as it is quite slow and cannot shoot directly behind it. So definitely support that puppy and you will have a great time shredding your opponents. And we got the Inferno. This guy is a long-range napalm artillery, unmatched by any. This guy is insane. I mean, just look at that spread of fire. You can slowly push your opponents back over time. But it does cost quite a bit. Think of this as similar to the Tremor in cost. I don't think Armada really has anything. The Armada instead has a precision attack with the Starlight, but this is quite an expensive unit, and it's you know, it costs a lot of energy. So keep that in mind. Definitely a late game item. Now, this is the moment you guys have been waiting for. This is where we're getting into new T3 units. The Caris is not new. It's been out for a while. It is the T3 anti-swarm tank. I think it's amphibious. Is it? No, it might not be. It looks kind of boat-like, so I was curious if maybe I missed that aspect. Anyway, it has a lot of damage. I believe that is a that large shot from the center cannon is a concussion shell, so it will slow down anything that is pushing quickly. And then those machine guns on the side just will tear apart anything that is running at you. So definitely a very good anti-swarm unit. Very cool tank, but maybe a little bit overpriced. I don't think they're the best unit for T3. And now we're getting into a brand new unit. This is something I have not played with much. I've only used this 1 or 2 times in a battle, and I didn't really have a chance to get its full potential, I think. But this is the Daedalus, and it has a heavy, what is this, kinetic weapon? It does like a, yeah, it's like a triple burst kinetic laser beam or something. It also has 4 small turrets on the side. I think those are able to potentially shoot in 4 different directions. If you shoot this way, yeah, that's gonna rotate. So this is gonna be really good anti-swarm and very good like single target damage as well. But it costs 8,000 metal per unit, so it is quite expensive. But I think you'll get plenty of value from this guy. Like I said, I haven't used this a ton in the battle, so I'm not really sure how it will perform. But I think, you know, it looks like it has all the firepower it needs to absolutely shred even T3 units. You can see 2,000 damage per second. Quite significant DPS there. Okay, next we got the Mcade. This guy is something we've all seen if you've played Legion for any length of time. I have heard rumors that they want to make this an all-terrain spider unit. It's just a matter of getting it to climb properly. When you get it climbing up a hill, it will tend to look a little funky. See, it kind of dips into the ground. So they need to rough out how to get the legs to properly form to the ground. And the fact that it's so long, they're having a challenge with that. But this guy is a absolute fighting machine. It's a very, very effective unit. It's got 30,000 HP, and it's relatively cheap at 5,000 metal apiece. It also has anti-air on it because of these rail guns on the side. These are very good at shooting down any aircraft that it has. And then also has in the center, it also has these rocket barrage missile launchers on the center, and then 2 chain guns on the back as well. So very powerful. One of my favorite Legion T3 at this point, but like I said, I have not tested the other ones yet in great detail and great extent to find out if that is changing. So very cool. I love the Mcade. Surefire, excellent choice. Next up, we've got the Javelin, an amphibious raider. Now, instantly, I'm thinking Marauder here. It is a bit faster than other T3. You can see he's actually running. So that's something a lot of T3 are not known for doing, is running. Let's see his weapon. Okay, he's got, it looks like a, let me see, is there anything I'm missing here? It looks like just 2 machine guns that he holds on his back, and he also has 1 machine gun on the top. This is something I would say very similar to the Marauder. Use him in similar circumstances. I think he's a bit slower, but he has definitely more HP, so he should be a bit more resilient. Yeah, I haven't used this guy in battle yet, so you guys let me know. Is the Javelin any good? I feel like they might need to buff him a little bit, because that's 1,200 metal. I don't know. I just right off the bat, I'm looking at the stats, and I'm thinking he might be a little bit underclocked at the moment. He does have anti-air capabilities, so that's good. I'm just worried he's not going to stand up to some of the pressures that he's gonna need to be under for these T3 raids he's gonna have to perform. But I do like the fact that he holds on when he's shooting. When he goes to shoot, he pulls him off of his back. I love that aspect. Very, very cool. And then he can just place them right back. Chink. Super nifty. So excellent design. I'm just not sure the effectiveness of the unit yet. So let me know. And we'll see what the consensus is there. Next, we got the Praetorian. This guy has been tried and tested probably by most of us. I really like him. I think he is a bit weaker than... He has a different role. I feel like a lot of the Legion T3 have the role of like anti-spam versus heavy damage single targets. Like the Titan, it has massive laser weapons, massive rocket launcher, and it also has the, you know, the plasma cannons that it shoots. But it's meant for single target damage. Whereas this guy, when you go to fire him, that screams to me burst damage, right? Burst, like large area of effect, damage spread over time. And so because of that, he's not going to be as good, I think, at defending against a Titan, defending against a Juggernaut, defending against a Behemoth. It's going to really be tough to hold your ground with these guys, unfortunately. But this is the role of Legion, you know. Legion has been dealt the hand of AoE, and they're going to have to make the most with it and come up with unique solutions to prevent some of these tankier, chunkier units from pushing in on their turf. So anyway, let me know, guys, what you think of this video, the visuals of Legion, and especially the new T3 units. Have you tested them? Have you proven them? Are they good? Are they bad? What are they used for? Your opinions, please let me know. If you guys got value out of this video, definitely subscribe, and I will see you on the battlefield.